Here we're taking a look at a offensive fast break. So an offensive 4-on-3 heading to the goal. And specifically, we're going to go over a basic progression that any player running a fast break, it could be a midfielder, a defender, a goalie, any player running a fast break can go through this simple progression, and it'll help them figure out what to do with the ball once they get down to the offensive end on a fast break. So first, let's make sure we know how to set up our offense and defense in a fast break situation. A fast break is a 4-on-3 when the ball is coming from the other end of the field, the other team is clearing, and the player with the ball is ahead of everyone else who is in transition. So that means that player is running into a 4-on-3 situation. So the defenders represented here in red are going to set up in usually in their triangle formation. There's the 3 defenders set up, and then the offensive players, typically your 3 attackmen, are going to set up usually in sort of an L, kind of like this, so 1 in each corner, and then the player with the ball right here running the fast break down completes that square or rectangle, so it ends up, the offensive team in blue ends up being in a rectangle or a square, as you can see here. So this is typically how a simple fast break is run. That's how we want to set up. So now let's take a look at the progression and what offensive player number 1 right here should be thinking as he's running downfield with the ball heading towards the goal that he's trying to score on. It can get confusing. It happens very quick. There are players chasing you, so which just adds to the anxiety. So to have this progression really kind of helps you make your decision once you get to the opposite end. So as offensive player number 1 is running the fast break and bringing the ball down the wing here, the defense is going to begin to rotate and adjust to play him. So the point defender, that's defender number 1 right here, his job is to head out and stop that ball, stop the player with the ball at some point so he can't get to the goal and score. Now, how quickly or how slowly he makes the decision to do that is going to help offensive player number 1 decide what he's going to do with the ball. So let's say he gets all the way inside the top of the box, depending on your grade, your age level right now. But let's say he gets just inside the top of the box here, and the point defender still hasn't slid to him or is slow to slide to him. He is welcome to take that big windup and shoot a hard outside shot, time and space shot at the goal and see if he can score from the outside. Okay. Now, if the point defender does what he's supposed to do and rotates to the ball and takes that shot away, all right, the second look in the progression for offensive player number 1 here is to look for a diagonal pass that might be open. So, as the defense is rotating to the ball a little bit, maybe attackman number 3 right here is able to sneak into the backside for an easy feed. Now, that doesn't happen very often, but it's something you want to look for, that split second after you decide that you don't have a shot because this defender is closing out too quickly. You just want to take a look and see if you have that diagonal feed real quick. If that's not there, most likely we're going to go across the top with that pass from player number 1 to player number 2. Okay, now why do we want to go across the top most of the time with that pass? Well, because we're getting the ball to the weak side. If you take a look at the situation here as the defense rotates, all right, the ball is with player number 1 right there. On the backside where you see blue player number 2 and blue player number 3, there's only 1 defender to cover those 2 players. On this side of the field, we have a 2-on-1. On this side of the field, we have a 2-on-2. We want to get the ball over to where that 2-on-1 is. So when we send the ball over to this side, the defense has to rotate and react. So we already have a couple of scoring opportunities right here. Player number 2 might have room to step in and shoot from there, or as the defense starts to rotate, all right, we've got a look down to number 3 right here who might be able to catch and score, or we have that diagonal look we talked about earlier. As the defense rotates, we can try and get the ball diagonally to player number 4 right there. All right. But the defense is only going to be rotating for a second. They're going to be moving quick, and eventually they're going to be right where they want to be. Okay. So let's take a look at that one more time. Ball is starting back up top. with player number 1. Offense or defense is set up in their defensive fast break triangle. Offense is set up in their L. All right. So as the ball carrier comes down, he is reading the point defender right here. If this guy is slow to slide, he's taking a shot. First look is to the goal. If he slides, second look is maybe diagonal real quickly as that defense rotates. Maybe that pass is there. Usually it's not. And if it's not, as the defense settles in, we pass the ball across to the weak side where we have a 2-on-1. As the defense starts to rotate, we're looking for a diagonal feed or sending it down the wing. Okay. Now let's say the defense rotates. They do a good job. There's nothing there. Well, we can pass the ball really quickly again back across the top. And as the defense rotates, maybe they're a little slow on this rotation. We get that backside feed and goal. Okay. So the progression when you're running a fast break, a real simple progression to help keep things simple. First look is to the goal. If that's not there, second look is a quick diagonal feed to the backside. If that's not there, third look is the easy pass across the top to the 2-on-1 side of the field. If you do that very quickly, go through that progression, you're either going to end up with a shot of your own or you're going to find an open teammate who has a shot, and either way should result in a good scoring opportunity for your team.